Hi, my name is Jacob Schultz, and I will be doing a video on my interview with my mother, Denise Schultz. She works for American Express, and she is a senior project manager for their technical division. American Express is a global credit card company, and its main competitors are both Visa and MasterCard. Um, the way she's involved with strategy within the firm is that she and the vice president are very close, and the vice president really leans on her to help steer projects and carry out the vision that the vice president wants to have within the whole company. She has been working there for over 20 years, and she is truly a model for my life on, consistency in organization. So a couple of interesting points are that Amex's leadership has moved them from a niche market into a differentiated market in the past 20 or so years, ever since my mom started working there. This should be interesting to you because I highly suggest that you go get an Amex credit card right now because they have the best discount rates for the user. And it's important because their old leadership believed that they were prestigious, and so they wouldn't run lines of credit for people like you and me, young college students who have decent credit scores. I know mine's not perfect, but they do now because they see the potential in the younger generations and people who will be willing to pay off their credit even though they may not be Kim Kardashian. So this covers something we talked about in class. So they moved into more a differentiated market because they're still not giving lines of credit out to every Joe Schmo and Dick, Tom, and Harry, but they are giving out credit to those who deserve it and are, even though they may not be the highest social status. And this goes for businesses too. So like they started working with Target. They don't work with Walmart, but my mom actually ran the Target project for Canada over like 10 years ago. And this did confirm a theory for me because I actually had the Amex prepaid card when I was a kid 10 years ago for the Target trial runs, and I had that I'm not gonna lie, until I was 18. That's how my parents put money on my card. But I will say management did do good by this because their profit margins have been raised, and management now sees them in the appropriate light. A second thing I learned in the interview is that Amex actually has synergy throughout their organization, and they create this through communication, 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 communication. My mom stressed that very much. If the vision from the VP cannot get to the normal worker, then my mom is not doing her job right. And my mom does a very good job. But an example of this synergy is they just bought a checking account process system. It's like a computer system from this company called Cabbage. They actually bought Cabbage with a K. And it goes into mergers and acquisitions when we're talking about how one company may not have the same culture as another. So Amex is big and slow sometimes, and then Cabbage is young, fast, and reckless. So they kind of collide there. But it's my mom's job to make sure that Cabbage knows the vision that senior management has. And technically they're Amex now, but so yes. And this is important for you because it demonstrates that this does happen in real life. So I actually work for I'm part of a conglomerate in my internship in the same way. They don't rule over hand and fist, but they make sure that we get stuff done their way. And it did confirm the theory about me for Amex because they are a global credit card company, and I was waiting for them for so long to actually get checking accounts. So now that they have a checking account, I am sure my mom will make me sign up for one. And I never thought that I would see a day that Amex would move into debit accounts, but because they make so much money off of travel and off of people going places that they needed to accrue revenue somewhere else. So checking accounts was viable option. And because of the pandemic, they lost so much money from people not being able to travel around the world and see clients and charge clients for that time. I learned a couple of really big lessons in this interview. And the first one, that if the vision, the only way it's going to get communicated to people actually doing the work is through communication. There is no other way around it. And you need to communicate it all the time. My mom said that if you don't communicate it to somebody at least 10 times, they're just not going to get it. And having worked with a few people like that, I totally agree. Um, so the big thing I learned was communication. The second thing I learned was to not think more of yourself as a company than you actually are. And I think this was very detrimental to American Express in even the 90s, because they thought that they were all that in a bag of chips, and ultimately they weren't accepted some places. And I also learned that that was a big thing that my mom, she didn't really like telling me in this interview, but a big detriment to Amex was the fact that they are not accepted everywhere around the world. I know Target is their biggest customer, but it's because they help out the customer. It's not because they help out they don't help out the business. But so yes, get an Amex card. My mom told me to say that. I was forced to say it. But thank you everybody for your time. I hope that everybody has a good day. And communication, 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 and Amex will be accepted everywhere if we all get an Amex card. Thank you and have a wonderful day.